Welcome back to our channel. Hey everyone, we're so excited to have you here with us again. If you love fun surprises, great food, and unforgettable reactions, then you're in for a treat today. In this episode, something truly unexpected happens. Yeonseok, who just returned, decides to showcase his hidden talent in the kitchen. And trust us, the results are nothing short of mind-blowing. Soobin's reaction? Absolutely priceless. Will Yeonseok's cooking skills impress him? Or will it all go up in flames? Stay tuned to find out. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting content. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's get started. The aroma of sizzling ingredients filled the air as Yeonseok stepped into the kitchen. His sleeves rolled up and determination gleaming in his eyes. It had been a long time since he had the chance to cook. But today was special. He had just returned, and the first thing he wanted to do was treat Soobin to a homemade meal. Little did anyone expect that his culinary skills would leave Soobin completely speechless. The kitchen, which had been silent for days, suddenly buzzed with life. Pots clanked, spices blended in perfect harmony, and the rhythmic chopping of vegetables created a melody of its own. Yeonseok moved with precision, his hands working effortlessly as if he had been trained in a Michelin-starred restaurant. Every movement was smooth, every action deliberate. He wasn't just cooking, he was crafting an experience. Soobin, who had been casually sitting at the dining table, couldn't help but be intrigued. He had known Yeonseok for a long time but had never seen him this focused in the kitchen. A part of him wondered, was Yeonseok always this skilled? Or was this a hidden talent he had never shown? The anticipation built up as the dishes slowly took shape. The first dish that caught Soobin's eye was a beautifully plated steak. Cooked to perfection, the seared crust glistened under the light, revealing a tender and juicy interior. Yeonseok had marinated it with a blend of spices that filled the room with a mouth-watering scent. Next to it was a delicate side of roasted vegetables, glistening with olive oil and infused with herbs that elevated their natural flavors. But the real surprise was yet to come. As Yeonseok placed the final dish on the table, Soobin's eyes widened in amazement. It was a dish that looked too exquisite to be homemade, a seafood pasta that could easily belong on the menu of a five-star restaurant. The pasta strands were coated in a rich, creamy sauce infused with garlic, butter, and a hint of white wine. Juicy prawns and tender scallops rested on top, garnished with freshly chopped parsley and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese. The presentation alone was enough to make anyone's mouth water. Soobin hesitated for a moment, staring at the feast before him. He had expected a simple meal, maybe something thrown together quickly. But this was beyond anything he could have imagined. He picked up his fork, twirled a small portion of the pasta, and took his first bite. The explosion of flavors was instantaneous. The creamy sauce melted on his tongue, perfectly complementing the sweetness of the seafood. The steak, when he finally cut into it, was tender and packed with layers of smoky, savory goodness. Every bite was a testament to Yeonseok's skills, leaving Soobin unable to suppress his surprise. "Where did you learn to cook like this?" Soobin finally asked, still savoring the flavors dancing on his palate. Yeonseok chuckled, leaning back with a satisfied smile. "I've always loved cooking, but I don't get many chances to show it. I figured today was the perfect time." The meal continued with laughter and conversation, the two catching up over delicious food that could rival any gourmet restaurant. It wasn't just about the taste, it was about the effort, the care, and the way Yeonseok had poured his heart into every dish. As Soobin set down his fork, a satisfied sigh escaped his lips. "This is one of the best meals I've ever had," he admitted. Yeonseok simply smiled, knowing that the effort had been worth it. Sometimes, the simplest gestures, like cooking a meal for a friend, could create the most unforgettable moments. And that night, as the two finished their dinner, one thing was certain. No one had expected Yeonseok's cooking to be this extraordinary. But now, Soobin would never forget it. As the night deepened, the warm glow of the dining room cast a soft light over the table, now littered with empty plates and glasses still holding the last remnants of their drinks. The rich aroma of the meal lingered in the air, a subtle reminder of the feast they had just devoured. Soobin leaned back in his chair, still in disbelief over what had just unfolded. He had always known Yeonseok to be many things: charismatic, sharp-witted, a natural leader, but a culinary maestro? That was an entirely new revelation. I have to be honest, Soobin finally said, running a hand through his hair. I thought you'd just whip up something simple, a bowl of ramen. Maybe some fried rice. But this was next level. Yeonseok grinned, his fingers drumming against the side of his glass. Well, I wasn't going to let my first meal back be something ordinary. He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice as if revealing a well-kept secret. Besides, cooking has always been my stress relief. There's something therapeutic about chopping ingredients, layering flavors, and watching everything come together perfectly. Soobin raised an eyebrow. Wait, so you're telling me that all this time, you've been keeping this hidden talent under wraps? Why haven't I seen you cook before? Yeonseok shrugged, a smirk playing at the corner of his lips. Maybe I was waiting for the right moment. The response sent a ripple of intrigue through Soobin. He had never seen Yeonseok like this, so relaxed, so effortlessly confident in a way that was different from his usual charm. There was something intimate about watching someone cook, about seeing them pour their focus and care into something meant to be shared. It wasn't just about the food, it was about the act itself. The thought behind it. A comfortable silence settled between them, punctuated only by the faint clinking of utensils as Yeonseok absent-mindedly stacked the plates. But before he could stand, Soobin reached across the table, stopping him. Hold on. His voice was playful, but there was a serious glint in his eyes. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were trying to impress me. Yeonseok chuckled but didn't deny it. Instead, he leaned back, arms crossed. And did it work? Soobin pretended to think for a moment before flashing a grin. Let's just say, I wouldn't mind being spoiled like this more often. Yeonseok laughed, shaking his head. That's dangerous. Next thing I know, you'll be demanding a full-course meal every time I visit. Not demanding, Soobin corrected, eyes twinkling mischievously, just strongly suggesting. The banter flowed effortlessly between them, light and easy, like the way old friends could slip into conversations that felt like home. But underneath it all, there was an unspoken appreciation of the effort, the moment, the connection that food had managed to create between them. As the night wore on, neither of them was in a hurry to leave the table. There was something about this moment that felt different, something neither of them wanted to end too soon. And as Soobin took one last sip of his drink, he realized something. It wasn't just about the food, no matter how incredible it had been. It was about the thoughtfulness behind it. The way Yeonseok had wanted to make his return special. The way he had put effort into something that wasn't just about eating but about sharing. Soobin smirked as he tapped his fingers against the table. All right, Chef Yeonseok, next time, I'm bringing dessert. Yeonseok raised an eyebrow. Are you saying you can bake? Soobin grinned. You'll just have to wait and see. And just like that, a new tradition was born.